Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about would you date an asexual? The characters I'm drawing on screen are my characters Che Lee, Ace, and Imani. They're from my webtoons Willow and the Family Ace. It is an asexual webtoons. I have various asexual characters of different ethnicities, races, background, religious backgrounds, mental health, etc., etc. So if you guys want to check that out, check out webtoons. The link will be in the description. If you like anything related to asexuality in webcomics, please check it out. Subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And just, follow me on there so I can keep this going. If you've ever been on the internet, you have seen one post in particular, especially on Facebook and Twitter, that has always risen hot and cold responses from people. And that specific post regards if somebody would date a polyamorous person. Now, I know you're asking, what does this have to do with asexuality, right? Well, we'll get into that. A lot of the times when those posts arise, people are usually in the comments and they're like, well, I could never date a polyamorous person because, like, I'm jealous and I'm possessive and, like, I'd beat up somebody and da da da, eliciting more violent responses based off of their relationship style. Usually, these posts are made by people to elicit those responses and to kind of get a conversation going, usually to spite polyamorous people. These posts usually aren't from polyamorous people at all. So it's always very monocentered, and it kind of like it doesn't make the scales even. Now, in relation to asexuality, I've seen a couple posts in the same vein of would you date an asexual person? Now, it's ironic that when I'm actually looking for it, I can't find it. But trust me, source, trust me, bro, please. Uh, I've seen these conversations, and then usually the responses that people will have teeter along two different lines. Why would I date an asexual person? Like, in terms of asexual people don't date. And no, I could never date somebody. I have too high of a sex drive. Or, like that doesn't align with my sexuality. Now, obviously, the first one I can kind of like skate by because, of course, a lot of people tend to not understand asexuality and the fact that it is more of a sex based sexuality, sexual attraction based orientation rather than a romantic based orientation. A lot of people don't know that asexuality is different from aromanticism. That's to be expected, sadly. But when it comes to the idea that I don't want an asexual partner because I'm just a horn dog. I have to have sex. Sex is just the a human need. It comes from a place of misunderstanding, but it also comes from a place of, I want to say, devaluing asexuality and people who are asexual because you did not do the research or you didn't even ask the question of is that person demisexual, gray sexual, any other type of subset of asexuality before you jump straight to this person isn't going to have sex with me. And I think that speaks a lot about the allosexual community in relation to just how they even view polyamory, where it's like, I don't want to share my partner, no, da, 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 da. I will resort to violence, or I will resort to getting mad or angry or cheating or da 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 da. In terms of asexuality, the cheating part would probably come up, but um, that's something that they feel they would be forced to go do because sex is such a necessity, right? And if you are a woman or woman aligned, I would say that that there is a thing where men will go out and they will say, if I can't get sex from you, I'll get it from somewhere else. And that logic kind of reminds me of this situation a little because that's kind of how men and some people just think in general because sex is so much of a need for them. that they would spite somebody else just to get it. Sex is so much of a need for allosexual heteromantic relationship, or even just queer relationships, that just the thought of even entertaining dating the asexual is just too much to bear. Literally disregard the fact that like asexuals can have sex. There are some asexuals who do feel attraction. The definition of asexuality is people who feel little to no attraction. So little to means that you might feel some attraction, but I don't think they care. I think that even with that, it's just the thought. Even like you don't have to deep dive, you don't have to research, because to them the pain already is just having an asexual partner, which goes into, hey, I don't feel like I'm good enough, or they make it about them. And that in turn kind of affects even like maybe like the romantic aspect of the relationship, but they usually don't care about that. Now, if you're asexual and you're more in the camp of you don't feel sexual attraction, or you don't want to have sex, or those things, or you're a little sex repulsed, sex leaning towards that aspect, I feel like in those instances, now this is a thing that I've always thought about. I and it goes hand in hand with the poly thing too, because poly people, they look for partners in different people and stuff like that. I genuinely do not believe in the mixed matching of like a polyamorous person and a monogamous person, unless that monogamous person is experimenting with polyamory and they are open minded. I have seen many, many relationships go very south very fast because somebody was trying to change that person, even when they said they were okay with it, but they ultimately were like, I'm not okay with this, I need you to be polyamorous, I love you, I can't do this without you, so like I'm gonna force what I believe onto you, ultimately making the other person miserable, and then the other person is happy, and then that person realizes I have to be poly because this is who I am, and then they make their monogamous partner miserable in the process. It's like a back and forth, right? So in talking about asexuality, I feel the same way, where it's like a lot of ace people, depending on where you lean on the scale, you should specifically, probably look for ace people who have the same, ace and aro people who understand. Because if you're going into the world with the allos and, people who actually feel like sex is the most important thing, you're only going to kind of face hardship and difficulties, because you're eventually just going to be trying to appease them and what they want instead of doing what you want. Because at the end of the day, the thing that's supposed to be more societally accepted is going to be looked at as like, yeah, like why can't you just have sex with them, why can't you just have one partner, you know and so I wonder, and this is for everybody out here, we can have this conversation, but like, do you guys feel like aces should date ace and arrow people? Would that be a little more safer or comfortable? Or do you have like an allo person who's understanding, patient, and just like willing to, um to listen and be there for you because of how you express sexual and romantic attraction? Um because it's not it's not it doesn't sound easy, but also I haven't been in that position, so I wanted to hear from you guys. And then also, this wasn't more so about aromanticism, because I actually have a video I want to make about aromanticism coming up. So look out for that. I guess this is gonna be the end. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I love you all platonically, and I hope you all have a great day.